It was indeed a historical night in Chicago as we elected the first African-American female mayor, Lori Lightfoot, in a major victory over Toni Preckwinkle. Lightfoot claimed a huge majority of the vote, sweeping 97% of the reporting precincts, Felicia.
Yeah, joining us in studio is Dick Simpson, former Chicago Alderman and UIC political professor. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'm sure it's an early morning because you were up late last night following these results. What an exciting night.
It was an exciting night. Not only the mayoral election, but also the aldermanics is a new day in Chicago.
Yeah, so let's start with the mayor's election. You want to start?
Yeah, well, my first question is, and this kind of dominated the lead up to the announcement of who won the runoff, ultimately being Lori Lightfoot, was low voter turnout again. Were you surprised by this?
Yeah, I was. The low voter turnout in the first round was pretty understandable because there were 16 candidates,
Sure.
and everybody was trying to figure out who am I voting for. And there were 211 aldermanic candidates, so it was very confusing for a lot of people who weren't very close to the politics. But the second time, everybody knew what was at stake. Everybody knew the candidates. They'd seen them. And it should have been higher, but it's not really that far off from what we had in 2015 when Rahm ran against Chuy Garcia. I think it was 36% in that case, and like 33% last night.
Okay. Let's talk about Lori Lightfoot. She's expected to take office, obviously. What do you think will be some of the first changes that we're going to see and the impact that we'll feel?
So one of the first things that happens about 2 days after inauguration is the city council organizes itself. That one vote will set the trend for the next 4 years because it's the committee chairman, the committee membership, and the rules of the council. And that key vote, if you remember, like Harold Washington, the 29-21 split, it happened with that first set of votes. So those are going to be key. The second thing is she will have to appoint key administration people right away, chief of staff, deputy mayors, and some of the department heads. And the third thing is she will have to signal where her government is going, probably with executive orders.
Because we'll have to see what's going to happen. Also, will she have control, be able to control the aldermen? 19 white aldermen, 19 black aldermen, 12 Hispanics. We're going to get to more detail about some of the key races in just a moment. But I remember hearing about, of course, Harold Washington in office and the council wars.
Right.
Would he be able to get things done because the aldermen were not working together, working with him? Do you think Lori Lightfoot will encounter the same thing?
So it's not been as well covered. Before the aldermanic election, there were 11 progressive aldermen. After the first round, there were 13 progressive aldermen, and now it's hard to tell because there's some races still. It's up in the air for the write-in votes. It's going to be about 18 or 19 progressive aldermen. In addition, a number of the other aldermen are Lightfoot supporters, like Michelle Smith in the 43rd Ward, to give one example. Okay. So she has to have a working majority of more than 25, and it looks to me like she should have that. But that's between now and May 20th, that's probably the most important thing, is gaining a permanent majority that will back her. Harold didn't have that, didn't happen for 3.5 years. And that slowed his government down considerably.
Yeah.
Dick, let's take it to where this election may have been lost. When you talk about Toni Preckwinkle, her connection to Ed Burke, and the scandal that never seemed to taper off. It was the trail the stench that she couldn't shake. Is that where you think this election was lost? Yeah,
and the reason was it changed the focus or the narrative of the election. You had two competing frames. I was with Lori since May, and we have worked on it for some time, but the basic one was Lori was for hope and change or reform, and Preckwinkle was saying, no, I'm experienced, I know how to govern. That experience didn't count once the issue became corruption. How bad can we be in Chicago? If Burke and the others go to jail, there'll be 36 of our aldermen will have gone to jail since 1976.
Wow.
More than 2,000 public officials have gone to jail since 1976. We're the most corrupt city in America. And the events in the newspaper and on the TV shows were reinforcing, hey, this is really serious. It's time we do something. It's not just about corruption. Then it became, what else do we need to change? What else is wrong with the city? The police problem, the school problem, the finance problem. And that's what won the day, was the definition. Once we knew what the election was about, the outcome was pretty predictable.
Well, Dick, Lori was not without criticism in her own right. A lot of people, the critics of her, believe that she was very ineffective with police reform when she was on the police board. How can she improve that standing as she now takes office?
Well, you have to remember, Lori is behind the report that led to the consent decree, and the consent decree is the key to actually reforming police and crime.
Very critical of Emmanuel.
So she will be in the position to make sure that that's carried out, that we live up to the consent decree, and that will change policing in Chicago.
Okay. Dick Simpson, thank you.
Talked to Dick for a long time about this. Either way, it's a great day no matter which side you lie on. Change is coming, and we've made history in a good kind of way, right, Felicia?
Yeah, I think this is a pivotal time in the city of Chicago. As you just mentioned, all the corruption that we've had, and I think some change might be happening.
So this is going to be a new Chicago. There's going to be a new city council, and it's up to us to guide it towards our dreams and our hopes.